So you're thinking about buying a new construction home here in Texas.
But what actually makes up a house? Like, where does that cost come from?
I mean, what's the difference between
This house,
this house,
this one,
this house?
and this one.
Well, we're gonna take you inside of these homes, show you the different construction quality, the finish out, and hopefully answer the question, are these worth what they're asking for them? Kicking things off, we are in Vista West. This is gonna be the least expensive home that we're gonna be able to find. This is gonna be right at 300,000. It's about 1,200 square feet. And we're gonna talk about some of the finish outs on this house that are gonna be a little bit different. You're probably not gonna see these. I call this like a minimalist builder because they're doing the minimum. So the first thing you're gonna notice is it's all siding. All of these homes are all siding. Now this is supposed to be their version of hardy board that should last a good while, but I guess we'll crank it all. And the other thing that you're gonna notice on the outside of these homes is they're 20-year roofs. So that's about as economical as you can get. Now coming on into this house, I can almost touch the ceiling. So the ceiling height's gonna be a lot lower. Obviously that's gonna save you on lumber costs and all that kind of thing. These walls are all 2x4s. You're gonna have blown-in insulation in the attic and also in the walls. And you're also gonna know that the space is not very big. So this is only 1,200 square feet, a little under. It does look like they're gonna have a little bit of an eat-on countertop here. So we're currently standing in what would be, I guess, the dining area. So it would probably be a little overhang here, sink, oven, refrigerator, I'm guessing goes over there. And then your laundry space, you do have room for a standalone, but everything in this house is gonna be super tight. And then we're gonna take a look at the master real quick. All right, so we're in the master bedroom and this thing is probably only 11 by 11. So your room sizes are smaller once again. And then in your bathroom, you're gonna notice a couple of things. This is just a drop-in shower, and I don't believe they put glass or anything on this, right? So your master shower, you're probably gonna have to hang a shower curtain, or you're gonna have to spend some money after the fact. You're gonna have one vanity over here, and then you got like a open linen closet more than likely. They may put a door on this, but I believe they're open. You have your commode here, and then you have a pretty small closet. Maybe enough for her shoes. I don't know if you're gonna have room for much else. Now let's talk about what you're not gonna get with a house like this. So these are what you call, people will refer to them as tract home builders. These are large production builders. You don't really customize this. They build them, you get what you get. And it's gonna be probably all carpet except for maybe in your kitchen. And you're not gonna get any decorative lighting. You're not gonna get those big tall baseboards that look real nice. And you're not gonna get a porch, a back porch. It's it's just gonna be a little bit of backyard here. So this is really, like I said, a starter home. And the other thing about this type of home that you gotta be careful about if you're looking to buy, yes, it is your opportunity to own a home, right? If this is towards the top end, which is great, but also a lot of these properties are gonna end up being rental properties. And that's always a concern for the long-term duration while you hold the house. So if this is something you're looking to buy, get started in, and then maybe rent out and keep as a rental property, this may be a great idea. But that's something that you should just take into account when you're buying a property like this.
All right, guys, so I know you've heard the old adage, location, 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 and it is very important. The location of your house can make your house $100,000 more or less than what it's actually worth. Like right now, we are on the west side of Fort Worth. There's not like a huge influx of people coming in this direction. So some of these houses, if they were up in, say, like the Alliance area where everyone is moving to, maybe another $50,000 or $60,000 on the price tag. So that will have a big sway on the price itself. But there are a lot of other notable factors that go into it, and we are really kind of hoping to point those things out to you guys, because you can have the same house by two different builders, more or less, and pay completely different prices for them just because of the way they were built out. One of the things that adds a lot of value to your house isn't actually a part of your house, and that's the amenities. So right now we are in the Highlands of Chapel Creek, and this one is a bit of a step up from where we just came from because it does have a lot of neighborhood amenities. They've got a little clubhouse, a pool, a playground, so some things for you and the kids to do on a nice summer's day. Another thing that does add quite a bit of price to the property would be the property itself. So right behind me we have D.R. Horton, one of America's builders. They call themselves America's builders because these guys are all across the US. We have them here in Texas, obviously. They're pretty pervasive, and this house behind me actually has a couple of things that make it stand out a little bit from its peers. So this one comes in a little bit over $350,000, and as you can see, some of that pricing comes from the fact that it does have brick siding. It does have a little bit of landscaping here, which is a nice little thing they can add that doesn't put a ton of extra cost on the house itself. But this is a pie-shaped lot, so you get a slightly larger front lot. You can see over here this side lot is a bit bigger than you would normally get, and stuff like that does add to the value of a home, which unfortunately also adds to the cost of the home. But let's go check out the inside and see what it has. So D.R. Horton is definitely a step up from LGI, at least in this area. You're going to get a couple of features with a D.R. Horton home that you wouldn't get with LGI. As you can see over here, we have an electronic deadbolt that can be controlled with a pad or a combination. They also have these integrated switches that you can swap these out. They actually have different inserts you can put into them. So a couple of small notable features. One of the things with D.R. Horton though is you're not getting a lot of the grand extras that you may get in a higher price point build. So of note, we do have 2-inch baseboards over here. They're nothing flashy or fancy, but they do provide some sense of separation and coverage for where the ground and wall meet. Speaking of the wall, the texturing, pretty plain. It's just your regular sponge texturing, nothing crazy. It's just a matte finish. It's not going to show fingerprints or anything, but it doesn't really wow anyone. Again, continuing on with the kitchen, you get granite, but it's only going to be about 1 inch, some rounded corners, no chamfers or anything crazy with it. You just got the drywall finish and the little kick plate here. Your sink is just a regular stainless steel insert. Again, everything you need in a house, you're getting all the tools. There's just no extra bells and whistles, no real extra flair added onto it, but that's how they're able to pump out so many houses and still keep it at a reasonable price point. A couple of the extra things that do actually add to the cost of the home are going to be things like your gas appliances. To run gas in a development does add quite a bit of extra cost to the developer and therefore the builder whenever they go to buy the lot. So these little things right here, they add up for the builder, and unfortunately that means they add up for you, but where they end up saving cost is going to be in things like this. So this is a 30-inch cabinet, so it's going to be a little bit shorter than say a 36 or a 42-inch cabinet, which are some of those big tall upper cabinets that you'll see in some higher price point houses. So if cabinet space isn't a huge thing for you, that's a great way to save money. So aside from the kitchen, one of the other costliest places in a house is typically the master bathroom. There's a lot of fixtures and things that go into it, and oddly enough, I thought this was interesting because D.R. Horton still includes shower glass in some of their houses. I know that's kind of crazy to think, but some of the hyper production builders around here will pinch every penny they can, and a lot of times your shower insert just comes with an open wall and they expect you to put up a curtain rod and like a vinyl shower curtain or something. But so it's kind of cool that even for $350,000 you're still getting some of these features. Speaking of features that you're getting with this house, you are actually getting a tankless hot water heater. So some of those cost saving methods like the shorter baseboards and whatnot, those extra pennies they put aside, they did put towards the fact that you're getting better equipment. So a tankless hot water heater, you don't have to worry about running out of water as quickly. Another thing they did end up saving cost on is this. A lot of times in higher price point houses, these mirrors will come framed or they'll have some sort of inset or some sort of architectural accent to set them off, whereas this, it's just held in with some plastic clips. It gets the job done, but there's nothing fancy about it. Speaking of not fancy, this acrylic, I actually don't know what this material is. I assume it's an acrylic, but this vanity, instead of using the granite like they did in the kitchen and just taking it throughout the entire house, they do save a couple extra dollars here and there by swapping out some of the other counters throughout the house with this material.
Guys, I lost Jack. It's not good. He's running ahead to the next stop. One of the things that I forgot to mention at the LGI home, they didn't have they don't have sprinkler systems, right? So that's another thing that you're gonna be hand watering that lawn. At D.R. Horton they do, and basically everywhere else you're gonna have sprinkler systems. Another thing to mention is the fact that I'm not wearing my seatbelt. I should probably put that on before I head out. And another thing to mention is mailboxes. So like in most of these new master plan communities, your mailbox is gonna be like a community one that you gotta walk over to or that kind of thing. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So that's kind of, I guess, might be one of the negatives to owning a new home. But anyway, something to think about. We're gonna go look at some nicer homes now, some semi-production builders.
And now we're in Ventana. Now we talk about this neighborhood a lot. It's got great amenities. It's very family oriented. It looks nice and pretty. And it's fairly close to downtown as well. It's like a 15-minute drive. So location is a plus as well. Now this house behind me is actually a Perry home, and Perry is actually a very nice builder in the area. They're upper scale, semi-custom, but this home right here, you can already see the value add whenever you start getting into that price range. And this one goes for about $570,000. It shows. So immediately we see that it does have brick siding all along the front and sides and back of the house. But on top of that, you also get a natural stone water line here. You're getting a lot of architectural accents, like the arches over the windows here with the brick. You get the trim and everything, a 30-year roof. You've got the 3-car garage, which is accented by these wood garage doors here. So really, they're throwing a lot of the money at the quality of material as well as the design of the house itself. And the inside is no different. So let's go take a look real quick. As soon as we walk in, this is a 36-inch door, so it's an extra wide door. It's also extra tall door because all of the doors throughout this house are going to be 8 feet tall. You're also getting a lot of extra features. As you can see here, this is like a 14-foot ceiling right here, super tall. It also has the insets, so partly cathedral-style ceiling over there. Or vaulted ceiling, I'm sorry. But as we come into the common area over here, you're getting a nice thick slab of a marble-esque type stone over here. It's the same type of countertop as you have over here. You get a cooktop, you get a decorative range hood, nice backsplash, under cabinet lighting and everything, a much larger pantry. So this is a little bit over 2,500 square foot house. So obviously a lot of the cost is going to be in the square footage itself, but it's also in the design elements. So you've got an undermounted sink, which is a little bit extra effort, a little bit extra money they got to throw at it. You also get these panels and the decorative panels and cabinets underneath the island over here, the built-ins here for the oven and the microwave. You also get much taller upper cabinets as well. And I'm a really big fan of this. Perry started doing this next to the dining area. You get an extra piece of cabinet here for like serving food or just decorative, but it's a really nice addition to the home as well. All of these things do contribute to the cost of the house more than just the size itself. Obviously, it's a big house. You get extra rooms as well whenever you have extra square footage like this. So this is really cool. A lot of the lower price point houses, you're not going to get things like studies or office rooms. You're just going to have to make do with an extra bedroom and turning that into an office. Whereas with a $500,000+ house, you do get an extra dedicated space. And this one comes with some pretty nice glass insert doors. Another good thing, speaking of the glass, some of these windows you'll notice don't have tracks for you to open and close them. These are picture windows. They look really clean. They make everything feel even more open than it actually is, just because there's not a separation in the pane itself. On top of that, you're also going to get a lot more built-in features as you go higher into the price points, notably fireplaces. As you saw in the last couple of houses, we didn't have any fireplaces in the house themselves because it's a really big architectural feat to include that. Whereas when you're buying over $500,000, you not only get a fireplace, but you get this really cool decorative hearth with the tiling and inset and everything else. So I would say as far as Perry homes go, this bathroom is pretty basic. And I know that's weird to say because this is really nice tile. You get your own, you get a separate tub, a shower with a full glass wall, separate vanities. These are some high-end features, but they have even higher end features. So whenever you're really throwing money at a house, the things that can start to add up are all those options that you throw at the house, especially in the bathroom, notably standing tubs or separate shower glass walls or walk-through showers even, or oversized vanities. These small little things that the wife really loves and wants in her bathroom that rack those numbers up really quickly. But suffice to say, even if you're looking at some of the more standard options, when you start paying this much for a house, you're going to get quality. So you get extra decorative windows over here behind the camera. We'll include some of that if Tom can't get a good angle on it. If nothing else, like the built-ins, they do still tile them up with really good quality tile. You still get the same marble-esque style stone on your vanities as well, so you're not going to be missing out. Another really cool feature about these price point homes is that you usually get an oversized back patio as well. So it's nice to be able to have a covered patio. The D.R. Horton home we looked at earlier also had a covered patio, but it was very small. You step out and then you take another step and you're already off your patio. Whereas here, you have enough room for a small dining set, maybe a grill setup or a TV or something like that, all while staying protected from the elements. Now, the problem with this price point is you can get a lot of house, but land is scarce and they're not making more of it. So it gets pretty pricey pretty quickly. And as you can see right here, while you do have a decent sized backyard, considering our proximity to the city, you don't exactly have swaths of land. You can't have horses. You couldn't fit a pool out here. So you are still going to have to compromise. But as we get into some of these higher price point houses, you're going to see something really cool. So stick around.
We're now out at Bella Crossing. There's a whole neighborhood here just on the southwest side of Fort Worth. These are all acre plus lots. And to get into here, you're probably looking at $800,000 to $1 million. And so this one's gonna be in the $900,000 range. It's one of our clients is about to close. And one of the things you're gonna notice, first of all, a lot of concrete work. They've got a huge circle drive, 3-car garage, and just really nice architecture. This is a really cool look. You're gonna see different types of roofs out here. They do have a 30-year composite architect shingle, but you're gonna see slate roofs, you'll see metal roofs out here. And then you're also gonna notice, like on some of these windows, these are, you've got black frames, they're a little bit nicer, a little bit more expensive. You've got these huge carriage lights, all that kind of stuff, but let's go in and take a look. Quick change, they were painting the first day we were here, had to come back for this part. But this here is a kitchen. I mean, number one, you've got this giant island, you've got legs that come out, you've got extra cabinet space below it, if you're one of those people that has too much stuff for the kitchen. We've also got these beautiful windows here with their sink that overlooks the back patio and backyard. So that's also a real nice touch. Can't forget to talk about the uppers here. You've got these nice glass uppers that they've put on, and also these are real wood cabinets. So these things are gonna last forever. You can sand them down, repaint them, in a few years if you get tired of the look and want to change things up a little bit. And also they're soft close, right? That's like an absolute must in a luxury home. Also, you're gonna find things like this beautiful millwork around the windows. You've got a brick fireplace that goes all the way to your ceiling. You've got these nice beams that run across the living room here. So all of these type of finishing touches are things that I would expect in a luxury type home. So talking about finish outs, obviously you have these nice French doors with the framing around them. And coming on into your master bathroom, you're gonna have a lot of really nice features like separate vanities that are gonna be oversized. So you've got huge mirrors on either side. They've got chandeliers, they've got a standalone tub. I mean, you're just gonna get all of these really nice HGTV type, magazine type finish outs in this type of home here. So if you're moving outside of city limits, you're probably gonna want to enjoy your outside space a little bit more, especially if you're sitting on an acre of land, right? You want a space to just kind of kick back, relax, or maybe entertain. So you can see in this house, they've got this huge oversized back patio. They've even got an island here for people to sit and eat at. They've got their grill over here. You've got a Coyote brand. This is a really nice mini fridge. And this is just a really cool space. You're gonna see with these houses out here that there's gonna be all kinds of crazy stuff. You'll see 12-foot sliding glass doors onto the back porch. You'll see people that have put pools in and just amazing outdoor spaces to really enjoy. So if you're somebody that likes entertaining or you just wanna have a real nice, relaxing environment, this is the type of property and price point where you're gonna find that kind of thing. Now, one of the great things about buying or building a custom home is you get to do things that you're not normally gonna see in other houses. Like this, they went ahead and got some Speed Queens. If you're not familiar with this, no, it's not a washer and dryer from the 1980s. This is a high quality, this is just some industrial type stuff right here. So if you want those things, you can absolutely get them done. I got one other thing to show you as well. Guys, we're in the attic. I don't know if you can see the sweat dripping. It's probably 90 degrees outside today. and it's probably 120 in here. But if we walk through here, I know you guys can't feel this, but this is foam insulated. It's gotta be maybe 75 degrees in here, if that. And so that's one of the great things, especially here in Texas, just having this foam insulation is gonna keep your utility bills low, and that's gonna really prolong the life of your equipment.
So this is Montrache, one of the crown jewels of Fort Worth as far as neighborhoods go. It is a gated, guarded community with nothing but luxury houses throughout the entire development. With an average square footage cost of over $400 a square foot, this is not something you get into easily. And this right here behind me at $2.8 million is an Alaria custom build. This one comes out to 6,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, which puts it at just about $430 a square foot. So when size becomes a limiting factor in the property that you're building, where does that extra money go? So some of the notable things that you're going to get on the exterior of your house that you wouldn't normally get with a production or a semi-custom home would be things like these shutters back here. So these are actual shutters. They're made of good quality material, good quality paint, and they actually close, so they're not just some tacked on detail. On top of that, your walkway is actually a concrete tile, so it provides a nice texturing. Everything's well leveled, well designed, well built, and the roofing actually is a slate shingled roof, which provides an extended lifetime for your roof as opposed to a composition asphalt shingle like you'll see on most houses. And so another obvious feature that you're going to get in a house like this are the finish outs themselves. So the rooms are going to be larger, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they feel empty, because you're going to have a lot cooler accents like this door right here. This is a really high quality steel door with large glass panes in it. You've also got this large accent wall over here into the office that really kind of fills that space. The quality of everything is also going to be really high as well. So even before we go into the rest of the house, one thing I do want to point out is the texture on this wall. It's a very flat, very smooth texture. And why don't you see stuff like that in lower price point homes? Well, to be perfectly frank, because it's really hard to do. Any imperfection at all will show up in this kind of texturing. So it's not something that they do on lower price point houses. Another cool thing of note is these custom baseboards. These are a special cut that was done. You won't find these in most hardware stores or any place where you find home good materials. So they're actually putting in custom materials into this house as well. Another really cool thing of note is the amount of built-ins and accents that you're going to find in a lot of these rooms as well. So they go out of their way to build good quality built-in shelving and cabinets here. All of them painted with same high quality paint. You're also going to notice there's going to be a lot more millwork throughout the house. So stuff like this, these accented walls with the cross members going across them, really nice touch, brings things out, as well as the tray ceiling up here, again with those decorative cross members. You're going to find that throughout a lot of the rooms in this house. Another thing that actually takes a lot of time and money whenever it comes into the construction of these types of houses are the specializations. So drywall isn't something that's especially easy to do, and one of the most difficult things to do in drywall is an arch, which you'll see they actually have plenty of these throughout the house, and they're very well done, very smooth. So to be able to get something that's flat and rigid to do this smooth texture like that is really difficult to do. So the amount of craftsmanship that goes into it adds up with the costs involved. So continuing on into the kitchen, you're also going to see a lot more material used. So it's not just the material itself, like this marble countertop they have for the island here. You'll also see the thickness of the material that's used. So they're going to be more hardy, more durable. They're going to be much nicer and better quality in the things that you choose as well. So you're also going to get special types of appliances. So these are all Wolf brand. This is a Sub-Zero. We've got a Sharp here, a little pull-out microwave with the top load, which I know is becoming a really popular feature. You're also going to have things like this custom cooktop with the decorative range cover, double oven, all of these very high quality pieces. So things like this where you're really just over engineering, going above and beyond, that's what kind of stacks that price point up. On the topic of materials, it's also about how often the material is used, because if you use a big slab of granite or marble for your kitchen island, that's one thing. That's going to be a few grand easily. But whenever you have to cut more and more marble for things like your bathroom counters, like you'll see in here, while it looks beautiful to have this amount of marble going through your house, it's really difficult to color match all from separate slabs. So these small little things start to add up really quickly, especially when you need it all to be one piece, so you can have this lovely double marble vanity right here. On top of that, you're going to have oversized tub, which you're not going to be able to get for cheap either. This hardware, all of it's really high quality. The cuts on the glass, which this is very thick. This is
probably a little over 1/4 inch of glass on each face. All of these things. So you're basically paying for over-engineering, quality of construction, and finish outs throughout the entire house. One thing that I love is the smell of cedar, and with these upper end houses, certain features like cedar closets and stuff like that are almost a must for your long-term storage. On top of that, this custom texturing that they have on the front of these really makes everything stand out. And speaking of features, the quality of the features themselves are also really high. These are very dense, real wood doors that they actually put into the entire house. And on top of that, you're getting actual wood shelving. So a lot of times they'll take particle board or like some sort of compressed conglomerate board of some sort, but this is like just a real piece of wood that they just took, sanded, and painted. On top of that, you're also getting other notable features like this. Whenever you have this much space in a house, you've got enough room to put an island in your closet, so why not? So on top of the 6,500 square feet that you get inside of the house, you also get maybe 200 square feet of covered patio out here. And the quality didn't stop just because you came outside. So we've got the painted brick out here. We've got the tiled back patio, nice texture. Everything's very level and flat, by the way, and I know that seems weird, but it does need to be said. As you go up into these higher price points, everything just has a much more polish to it. On top of that, they have a second fireplace out here, but they didn't just stick another gas fireplace in there. I know some people, wood fireplaces are a really big draw. You have your option of doing wood out here or a gas fireplace inside. You also have a built-in over here. Just these small features that really add up. And one touch that you're not gonna find in most houses outside of the custom range is something like this. So this is actually the track for a pull-down sunshade. So this one right now, we don't wanna mess with it because this isn't our house or anything, but you have a solar shade that comes down that can help protect you from bugs, the elements, heat, sunshine, whatever, while you're chilling outside for events, hosting, or just on a nice summer day. So the cost of the quality actually starts all the way at construction. So one thing I do want to point out is these right here are 2x6 planks. So a typical production home is going to be built with 2x4s throughout the house with maybe 2x6s on key elements like exterior walls. Whereas this, you're going to see on even these interior walls, everything is going to be a 2x6 plank, which provides rigidity and makes it to where your house won't crack or shift as often or as early. Another thing that you're going to find is this right here. These decorative window panes are actually metal, so they're putting higher quality materials in from the very start. And this is really cool because this is actually just bracketed in, and then they take the panes and individually and painstakingly put them in one by one. So I'm really glad we caught this one in the stage of construction that it's in, because it perfectly showcases one thing that we love to point out in new houses. So all of this right here, all this empty space between your walls, in between your appliances, they are going to foam insulate that, which is a very big draw, especially here in Texas. The R value, or the efficiency value of your house, is very important. When it gets over 100 degrees for an extended period of time, those AC bills add up very quickly. So this little bit of upfront cost can actually save you a lot on the back end.
So we covered a lot of ground today, everything from $300 to almost $3 million. And hope that gives everybody a good idea of kind of what's out here. Now there's a lot of in between, and there's a lot of variation on just about every price point that we looked at, but it should hopefully give you guys an idea of kind of where we're at right now and the difference in some different builders and that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into building a house. It's not just the materials used, and obviously size and location are gonna play a huge part in the price of your house, but it's also gonna come down to the builder and their systems and efficiencies. Some builders, while they may put out a house that they ask $700,000 for, it may not necessarily be $700,000 worth of value to you, the end buyer. Sometimes you may have a really difficult process working with the builder, and that can take time and money out of your pocket. On top of that, they may cut corners. You may have to go back and fix things. So a lot of it just comes with the experience of knowing the builders and how they like to operate, which is why you get a good real estate agent who has good relationships with these guys.
Right, because we've seen neighborhoods that are, you know, there's homes selling in them, but the prices don't make any sense for the product. Like, I always go, like, who's buying these? Like, do they not have any representation? By the way, if you don't, call us. 2-minute phone call will save you $2,000 to $10,000 on your next home purchase. If you're buying new, that is. You know, so that's one of the things. And then, yeah, just the quality, the attention to detail, and also like the process. So like, you know, there's some builders that really care, there's others that don't, and then sometimes we got to go to bat. Like we're getting a whole driveway ripped out and redone because they tried to put a Band-Aid on it. So it's like, those are the things that come up throughout the process. And but yeah, hopefully this would give folks a good idea of construction and the differences, at least here in the North Texas area. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm. Call Tom.